I got to play Scott Pilgrim EX, and as a huge fan of the original beat 'em up, I'm so excited to have a successor to that game, but there were also a few things about this one that I'm not sure about. So I came away from Scott Pilgrim EX with three big takeaways. The first is that the pixel art style is absolutely gorgeous. It was gorgeous in the original, and it's gorgeous here. It's very expressive. Everything in the background is constantly moving. It looks wonderful. And if there's one thing you can take away from this game, is that it is gorgeous. My second takeaway is that they're doing some really interesting things with the structure of a traditional beat 'em up in this one. There's more of an overworld map this time. You have main objectives, you have side objectives. So you're actually kind of running back and forth through these different areas of the map of Toronto in this one, which is very different from the original Scott Pilgrim game, which was a much more traditional level-based beat 'em up. And the third takeaway was that this one has dialogue in it. The original Scott Pilgrim game was entirely wordless in the vein of those old arcade-style beat 'em ups. This one has actual written dialogue, and to be honest, I think it's kinda cringy. I like Scott Pilgrim a lot, but I feel like the writing doesn't really feel up to the quality of what I expect from Brian Lee O'Malley's writing, so I'm not so sure about that aspect. So I got hands-on with 20 minutes of Scott Pilgrim EX. We got to go through a few missions early in the game, try out a couple of new characters. One really cool thing is that in addition to all the original characters you expect, like Scott and Ramona, you can actually play as some of the evil X's now. So I played as Roxy, which was a lot of fun. I like her moveset. It's, as far as the way the game actually works, the combat is about what you'd expect from a beat 'em up style game. You have your basic move, your heavy move, you can do your grab, you have a power attack, and then you can do these little special summons that you can do. There is actually an inventory system in this one, which is kind of neat. It reminds me a lot of like a JRPG style inventory system where you have accessories and then you can pick your super. Pretty neat. Obviously there's shops that you can wander around to grab different accessories and change different characters. So there seems to be a level of customization that the original didn't quite have that I think is pretty neat. But perhaps the biggest change is the actual structure itself. It's not just like a traditional level base. There's a proper open world map where you're exploring around, you're going back and forth between different areas, and you have main objectives and you have side objectives. I found this structure to be really interesting, but I am worried a little bit about how that's going to feel pacing-wise, going back and forth through the same environments. Something I really like about the original Scott Pilgrim game and arcade beat 'em ups in general is that they just have like a real snappy pacing to them. You're constantly moving from area to area, and each environment feels very different. So if you're having me go back and forth between areas, I could see it getting a little repetitive, but honestly, the slice was so small that that's not really something I can judge yet until I've actually properly played the game. The last biggest change that this game has is that it actually has dialogue in it. In the original game, it was entirely wordless in the style of classic arcade games. In this one, there is written dialogue. That's because it is its own unique original story. I was asked them if this is supposed to take place in the canon of the books or the movies, or maybe perhaps the new anime TV show. They said it is sort of inspired by the anime TV show because the evil X's are all in this game and you are interact with them and actually have them in your party, so they're friends. Spoilers for that anime, by the way. But they did say that it still takes place within its own canon, and I guess that's kind of a thing that Brian Lee O'Malley wants to be really important, is that each Scott Pilgrim show or game can kind of feel like it exists in its own pocket universe of Scott Pilgrim, which I thought was interesting. So because of that, there is a unique story and there is dialogue. And I thought the dialogue was really cringy. I'm just gonna be honest. It didn't really do it for me. I like Scott Pilgrim a lot. And say what you will about Scott Pilgrim, it's not perfect, but I do think Brian Lee O'Malley is a really sharp, witty writer. He has put out some all-time banger liners, and everything in the dialogue in this game felt like somebody who was trying to emulate Brian Lee O'Malley, but didn't really have the wit or the skill to pull it off. So I kind of wish that there wasn't dialogue in this based on the little bit that I have heard. Granted, the dialogue can be completely different depending on which character you had. So maybe in my example, because I played Roxy, most of the dialogue was Roxy talking. So maybe she's just really cringy, and if I pick a different character, it won't feel as cringy. But in general, I didn't really care for the writing all that much. That's maybe the one thing about this that I wasn't super jazzed on. Overall, it was a small slice of the game, and while I do have reservations about the dialogue and I'm unsure about some of the structural changes, I'm just really excited to have a spiritual successor to Scott Pilgrim, because I really love that old beat 'em up a lot. It's kind of one of my favorite of that style of game, and at the end of the day, it's just nice to have a new one of those. So I'm still very excited to check it out when it comes out. There's plenty of other games here at Gamescom that we've been checking out, so go watch some of those videos, because hey man, games have come a long way since Pac-Man.